Awesome. Okay, welcome back to our bonus episode where we have some fun questions to discuss after reading book 1 of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Let's jump in. And if you haven't read ACOTAR yet, just read it. Okay? What was your favorite quote from the book? So I have two. And I'm actually going to have them on my wall, hopefully by the next time we record. But one of them is from the very last chapter, which is from actually both of my quotes are from Rhysand, of course. Oh, when Rhysand says, "Be glad of your human heart, Feyre, pity those who don't feel anything at all." So that one, and then when they're at Calamai and Rhysand interrupts the other fairies from hurting her, and he says, "There you are. I've been looking for you." Because I love how it ties and is so similar to the first time Rowan officially meets like Aelin in her Fae form in Heir of Fire. So I love the similarities there. So favorite quote.
I would say mine would have to be, actually, we just covered it too, and it's kind of Feyre Rhysand together. It's the area about her arm being healed, her not having to bargain. Um, so you could have demanded every single week of the year, my brows knit together as he turned already half consumed by the dark every single week, and I would have said yes. And then the line following, it wasn't a question, but I needed to know the answer. I love that. And then, of course, tying in his I know at the end, but the first part, because it's so, okay, she's starting to come to the realization that she is making her own choices. She is, like we talked in the last episode, covering about what she's feeling and making her own way and her own path. And then following in suit, because I can't do anything simply myself, I do have a second passage that's my favorite. I don't know if it's necessarily quote, but where they're working on early in the book when they're working on, or and she's in the library and she's looking at the map, a mighty black cauldron held by the glowing, slender female hands in a starry, endless night. Those hands tipped it over, golden sparkling liquid pouring out over the lip. No, not sparkling, but effervescent with small symbols, perhaps some of the ancient Fey language. That tie-in to just everything in her world, so beautiful. It was something that stuck with me. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it when one of our first episodes when we covered it, but it's part of what drew me into her writing originally. And even after a year of reading it, I still highlighted it. And I don't highlight much on my Kindle, but it's saved in my clips for my Kindle notes because I had to go back and save it and I didn't want to mark my book. So there you go.
That's awesome. Okay, before you give your answer, I actually thought that part, because when Sarah wrote these books, she had not finished writing Throne of Glass. So I thought we were going to get a point in Throne of Glass where Aelin is the one pouring out the cauldron, and that's how it was going to tie into the different worlds. Obviously, that's not what happened, but that is one theory that I had reading through these books before Throne of Glass was finished.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
See different perspectives because you got to read it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, Kay, your favorite quote.
So honestly, anything that Rhysand has said, but especially Calamai, I love just when he first comes up to her. Hang on,
I love it.
waking up. I don't know the exact page it's on, but mine would be whenever he first comes up to Feyre during Calamai, when he first finds her.
There you are. I've been looking for you.
Yeah, I just love that. And anything that he says, I just love the banter between them. But that's my favorite quote.
I agree. I think it gets better in book 2. Obviously, they spend more time together in book 2, but in book 2, it's like top of the line, right? It's perfect. I agree. I think "Hello, Feyre darling," that is such a well-known quote too. Everybody has it on like little stickers or quotes on their t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, because it's just a little piece, but it is like the epitome of Rhysand and his relationship or his feelings towards Feyre is just, "Hello, Feyre darling." Like I can't wait till we get to more of that because I think the voice actor in the dramatized versions does a really good job with Rhysand, and I'm looking forward to him in book 2. Okay, next one. Flip to a random page in the book, read your favorite line to the group. Okay, so mine is, I already pointed that out. So page 336 in the book, And my favorite line, I don't think I pointed it out when we actually read through or discussed this chapter because I don't have it underlined. But I think my favorite one on this half page is Rhysand and Feyre had just made their bargain, and Rhysand is talking about how he's going to tell Tamlin when the moment is right. And Feyre says, and I'd fallen into his trap, fallen into it worse than the worm had fallen into mine. I was like, that is perfect.
I love it.
right.
Mine was on page 215 in the book, and it's right after she's talking with Lucian, trying to get his vibe on a couple things, why the glamour isn't applying to all of the other beings. And he looks at her and goes, well, if I offer you the moon on a string, will you give me a kiss too? By far, favorite line on that page.
That's a good line in the book,
Yeah.
too. Because Lucian's just like
And he's cleaning his
teasing
nails
her.
with his
Lucian cracks me up sometimes with what he says.
Right?
Hold on, let me figure out where I'm at in this book, though. I'm on 160 and 161.
All right, page 160.
Necessarily. It looks like it's Tamlin just telling Feyre about Lucian's history, but it's what's grabbing my attention. So I love anything where they're referencing the cauldron. So 2 jokes in one day, a miracle sent from the cauldron. Any of that cracks me up, especially like when Lucian says cauldron boil me. I love that. I love it. It's just so fun.
I agree. I think that's perfect. Okay. If you were to get a tattoo of this book or inspired by this book, what would it be?
It's a great question. So I've already got some lined up.
Right? But it has to be specific to this book, not just the series, but this book. If I had to get a tattoo about this book, it would probably be the feline cat eye that is tattooed on Feyre's hand. Because that's the only thing I can pull out from the book that I would want permanent. Like other books in the series or other books by her, yes. Because I already have one. But for this specific book, there's really nothing because like we don't really know what the Night Court symbol looks like yet. So I can't say I would get the mountain with the 3 stars. So yeah, I think it would have to be the cat eye or what I would interpret as what her tattoo looks like. I think it would be cool to get something like that. Maybe, I mean, obviously not a full arm tattoo, but like maybe like a small section, a couple inches around a part of my arm that would be similar to what she had. I could see myself doing that.
Yeah, I could too. That's really the only thing I can think of is just her, what Rhys gave her on her arm. I'd have to probably sit and think because I can't think of anything else specifically from this book. From the other ones, obviously, but
Right.
This one's hard. This one was
Yeah.
hard for me too. I thought about it a couple days, and I would say possibly inspired by this book, a pair of violet eyes in a dark mist on the back side of my neck right here. But
Oh, that's
I
cool.
wouldn't get anything from this book because I have other books in this. If I was going to get anything book related, it's probably going to be from the last book in the series. So, but if I was going to from this book, I think it would be that for the symbolism behind it.
Because that is brought up multiple times as describing his eyes as violet.
And
it would
through
still
the midst
tie
of
into
the
the other
darkness,
books.
and there was yeah.
Okay, I like that one too. All right. Do you see yourself in any of the characters?
Pharaoh when she's being stubborn. I am such a brat. When I'm at it makes sense to me, even if I don't understand your intention behind it. My why is my why, and I'll walk away and I'll storm out and I'll have my moment and then I'll come back. All right, fine, it's over. Let's move on. Like, but like bratty stuff, not serious stuff, just the bratty
Yeah.
side. So.
Yeah, I think I'd have to say Feyre as well, but in the sense of like when she gets to a point where she has to kill the 3 fairies in the final task. I mean, even when she has to kill Andrus as in a wolf form, and she's talking about my survival versus others, why am I more important than somebody else? And I think I would struggle in the same way that she did if I had to come to that point. So I feel like I would relate very well to her in that regard. Okay, what do you think?
So for
you can
me,
say no.
yeah,
or Nesda.
no, Nesta's a not a very good person. I have a hard time putting myself in the character, like seeing myself as characters. I just read it to read. I have a hard time looking past and seeing. I get so immersed, I guess. I don't really think about myself in any of this. I just like to read the story just to read it. I don't.
That's understandable. Would you change the ending of the book? I think this is a really hard question to ask us because we've all read the rest of the series, and so we know what's going to happen and why things happen the way they did. But I think if we went back and were asking that question after reading it for the first time, then I imagine we would all want to say yes, that we would want something to happen so that Rhysand and Feyre were together.
You think that so early on? You don't think if we were just reading that for the first time, you don't think that we would want something different with Tamlin?
I mean,
I
maybe.
I remember how I felt with the first time, and oh my gosh, Tamlin. And then the rest of them. Obviously, Rhys, you like the whole mystery behind him throughout the book and his character, but you don't really know anything about him other than what's being told by Tamlin.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like I might want something different, especially with the tasks too. I hate that she had to kill the other fairies. So maybe that, but yeah.
Anything to add or no? Do you agree?
Honestly, seeing this comes out my type of reader. I have such a hard time separating the rest of the series because I read it after everything was already written.
Mm-hmm.
It was my foray, not necessarily getting back into reading, but actually buying books and having the drive to explore more as opposed to just relying on my reread. So I don't think I would because I remember I had the very next one next to me and I went straight from closing this to picking up the next. I didn't have a pause. So because of that, I don't think I can answer that question because I wouldn't, but I'm biased from having just had the experience I had. So
Right? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I feel like that one, maybe at the end of the series, because the new ones aren't out yet, we can ask that question again and possibly have different answers. But yeah, that makes sense. What snack would you pair with the book? Can you make rabbit jerky? Is that a thing?
I'm sure.
Because I just
We're going that wild with it.
you just went on a
Rabbit
whole different
jerky. Like I was thinking
I
chips.
just
Rabbit jerky is where we went with that.
almonds and veggies, maybe. No.
Yeah, it was
I
not
was just
thinking
thinking
rabbit jerky.
I'm just thinking about the rabbit because she mentions, well, just they're mentioned multiple times throughout the book. It was her first kill, which we just read in the last couple chapters. Plus, she talks about it right before she goes to Prithian about making traps for rabbits, and so that's why my brain immediately thought rabbit. But then I was like, that's not really a snack. So, can you make jerky out of rabbit? That's a snack.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can wine be a snack?
Yeah,
I think of fairy wine. That's only.
exactly. That would be the next one. Yep, a good wine. That is one of the questions. What drink would you pair with this, wine or coffee? And I feel like wine is the better option.
sparkling wine.
Sparkly wine. Okay.
A sparkling Moscato from Trader Joe's, to be specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the only wines I drink, but it tastes like I imagine in our way without having the ability to taste and feel like you do or like they do in books. It tastes how the pool feels when Tamlin and Lucian take her to the picnic that day.
Okay. Interesting.
Like just the light, like honestly, it's the wine that I told you I'll probably look and get a couple bottles for me to drink for our toast for the wedding. So like it's that good. But for snacks, I would honestly have said like the trail mix type stuff or almonds and peanuts because like I didn't want to have to think about being messy while I read, so I was just anything I could. But I mean,
Okay.
that was where I went.
Not rabbit jerky.
No rabbit jerky, no, and no grubs either. Not really.
See, I would not have paired trail mix with this book because they don't do. I mean, I guess they do some hunting, but they don't really do any hiking. And that's why when I think of trail mix is for hiking.
See, I think of it for nature, even just trips out and about. So she's out in the springtime snacks, summer when it's too hot to cook. So you're just kind of eating the fruit or popsicles or whatever's there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I could see popsicles because I've had popsicles with everything, but that's not really related to the book. So I was thinking more like picnicky type snack.
Okay, I can see that. They go on a couple of picnics. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, I guess you could put rabbit jerky in the picnic though. So I mean, a little bit for everybody.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what color do you associate with the book? So I think I associate red, but that's only because the original cover had red on it. So but like it kind of fits with the amount of killing that she does. And I know how that plays a part in book 2, but I feel like it plays a part in book 2 because of the amount of blood in book 1. So I think red.
I would say more of a, apparently we are going deep with these answers now that I start to say this. More of like a desert dry grass color, like almost dead grass, like brown wheat, dried out wheat. And then as it's towards the end, almost like an ombre inch or regrowth. So like
Okay.
as you imagine like the spring court coming back to life, I kind of see that progression because like her life was drab, colorless. Early on, it was just survival into being able to see stuff and then seeing more than she ever imagined. So I would almost do this one versus others as like a dusty tan, not quite beige because there was some stuff that sparked a little, but mostly just kind of there. Like dead grass type.
Dead grass color.
Again, I live in the desert, dry grass.
Would have never thought that is a color, let alone associate it with this book. But okay.
I'll take pictures outside if you want.
Oh no, I believe you. It's just being in the East Coast-ish.
Fair.
That's not what I would have thought.
I have a hard time associating colors with I'm more of like scenes. I can just see different scenes having colors, not associating just a whole. I do. Red is a very good one because there's lots of feeling, but it just depends on the scene for me, honestly. Because I don't know, like, so when I think of spring court, I think of pastels, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and then dark and dreary when I think of Under the Mountain. So it just depends on the scene for me.
What emoji best describes the book?
I don't.
Like a purple heart, maybe? Because I'm going based off of the violet eyes again, which we love, but also with like a little dagger in there because so many people are dying.
So are we just making up emojis or are we picking one that's already made at this point?
Let's go with something already made.
I don't know.
I still say the smiley face with the X's for the eyes because of all the death.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What?
Let's
Just
go.
I mean,
So like the color of lights out, pretty much.
Ooh, or yeah,
yeah, basically.
or a palette of paint.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Okay.
That is very much through most of this book. And she references how much she goes from not painting to not painting. I like that one. I agree. Which location in the book would you want to visit?
The pool. With all the light.
The Pool of Starlight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of all the locations that we've seen in book 1, that's the only one that I would really want to go see. I mean, as nice as the gardens in the Spring Court probably are, I'm just like, meh. So I agree. How many stars are you rating the book? Up to 5. We're going to go with 5. Just the book, not the series.
Yeah,
which
if I
is
was reading
hard.
it for the first time, probably, I want to say 4.5, but probably a 4.
I agree. Because I feel like the parts that we love, we only love because we know the rest of the series. So I would agree. Probably about 4. Maybe 4.5.
Yeah, I said
I would
4.5.
see. I would even say like 3.75, a high 3. Because the beginning, if you're looking at just this book, the beginning just dragged so
Yes, it
much.
does.
Let's say about when you get to the
So
trials is where I would go with.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think for that alone, just to enjoy overall and get lost in, maybe like a high 3, 3.7, 3.8.
Did you learn anything new from the book?
The dramatized versions are worth it to listen.
That's true. What part of the book surprised you the most? Which is again hard because this is a reread for it. And I'm trying to remember what I would have thought what my answer would have been when I read through it the first time.
I feel like when I first read it, probably when she first goes under the mountain and she sees Claire like tacked up on the wall. I feel like that was a pretty big stuff's getting pretty real when I see a body just hanging up on the wall. I think that was probably the most shocking.
Yeah, I think the extent of her family's wealth after she went to live in Prithian surprised me the most, because I think knowing that they're taken care of is one thing, but essentially having them being elevated to pretty much the top of society because of the riches that Tamlin gave, and then also the riches Feyre comes home with. I think that part surprised me the most.
Honestly, I think I'm going back to my first read. I think I'd have to agree with Kay and go with Claire. I remember audibly gasping when I read her name when she was under the mountain. I think that would have to be it for me too.
Okay. Interesting. What is your favorite scene in the book? I think I can answer this for all of us that it is Calamai.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Oh yeah.
Either that or one of the interactions between Rhysand and Feyre in her cell at one point, because I feel like all of them are really good.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Did the book inspire you to try something new?
It inspired me to read the next book immediately after finishing the first one.
Right? So it wouldn't have been the first time that I read it, but in one of my rereads, I did pick up painting because I was like, oh, I could totally be Feyre and paint. I mean, I'm not terrible at it, but I'm not anything special. So I did try painting because of this book and a combination of another book. So there's one.
The first time I read it, I read through the first book and turned around and bought. Well, I already had the rest of ACOTAR series, but I turned around and bought all of Throne of Glass without even reading more than ACOTAR and Crescent City books 1. So I guess that to dive into the world completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you cry while reading this book?
No,
I don't remember.
not this.
Okay. So when I first read it, when I first read any book, most books, I don't cry on the first read. But when I'm rereading and I know what's coming, there are certain things that I will cry for. Like I always cry at the end of book 3. Hands down, it's going to happen. This reread, I did actually tear up when Feyre is being killed and Rhysand is trying to help. And it just, all the feels. So I did tear up a little bit on this reread at that point.
I don't think I cried the first time with this one. It wasn't until the second book that I cried.
That I understand too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think my biggest cry is book 5, but a little bit in 3. So yeah, this one not so.
Really? We'll get there, I guess. I don't have to.
Oh, it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Life,
Okay.
man.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Was there an unlikable character who won you over in the end? I think this is definitely a question we'll revisit further into the series, but I do feel like reading the first time I read through it, I wasn't a big fan of Lucian, but as you go through the book, I do feel like he is one character that you kind of, not that you didn't like him in the beginning, but he's just kind of standoffish. But as you get to know him more and go through the books, even a little bit in the first book, but more into the second and third, I feel like he's a character that I've grown to like more. And it definitely helps listening to the dramatized version with who the voice actor is. Because if you've listened to the dramatized version of Fourth Wing, it is the voice of Zayden, who is the voice of Lucian. So it's just like, do I like Lucian because of the voice or the actual character? Who knows?
A little bit the first time I read it, without knowing what was coming, I would say Rhysand. Because the very first scene you get with him, horror, violence, and them, all of that. So that was probably my first impression, but doing a second half, I'd have to say Lucian as well. I actually liked Lucian a lot more in the beginning, the first time I read it, and started off not liking him as much this reread. So I kind of had a flop reaction, which probably due to already reading the series.
I was just gonna say Rhysand. You grow to love him either way. I can't really. I don't remember getting super attached to any of them, but Rhys, it immediately draws you in. Calamai, and you're hooked. And that you just You just grow to love everything he says after that.
I love it. Do any of the characters remind you of someone in real? Don't think, at least not at this point in the story, can I say that I know any characters well enough to compare them to somebody in real life.
I would agree. I think that's a question. Maybe we'll have more that we can give further on, but I think we're so
Okay,
in the character building stages
we'll
still.
skip that one. We'll skip that one for now then. Um, would you set up a friend on a date with any of the characters in book one? I think I would have to say Lucian out of all of them.
That's what I was gonna
Because
say
at this point, like, I don't know that I'd say I want to set someone up with Rhysand because, I mean, yes, you understand why he's doing things, but he's also like all over the place. And with Tamlin, I think we've picked out enough, I don't want to say red flags, but at least yellow flags with him that I'm like, I don't know if I would recommend him. But I can see Lucian. I think he'd be
Lucian
fun
too. He
for
seems
someone to date.
definitely more stable than Tamlin.
This is true too.
Yeah, Tamlin is just what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say out of control. What is the word I'm looking for? He's just I can't think of the word.
I don't know either. He's
Unpredictable.
unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Yep, it's
Okay.
unpredictable.
He's unpredictable. Okay. I can see that too.
He has too many temper tantrums.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not a good unpredictable because I feel like Rhysand is also unpredictable, but it's not in a negative way. Whereas with Tamlin, he's unpredictable in a negative way.
Yeah, something good is going to come from Rhysand's unpredictable. He
Right.
thinks things out, you know?
Yes, because he's smart like that. Whereas Tamlin doesn't really care enough to think it through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the only other question I had in regards to this book is pick a situation from the book. Would you have handled it differently? So let's pick one situation from the book and go from there.
Situation, there's so many situations.
So
Yeah.
the third task, having to kill 3 people. Would you have done it differently?
I wouldn't have been able to do it.
I agree. I don't think I would have been able to do it either.
I don't know. That's honestly one that I can say if I were in that situation and I could be disconnected enough and emotionless enough in that moment to realize it's before the greater good and then follow through with what Feyre was thinking, killing herself afterward, probably.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't be able to live with the guilt. I mean, I accidentally stepped on a cat's paw and I'm in tears for days. And I'm not
Right?
exaggerating when I say that, as you know.
Oh.
I hurt my baby. He can't be next to me, but I miss him because my allergies, but I love him. So, I think I could do it if I had to for the greater good. But I think that whole, hey, train carrying all of your family members versus train carrying one family member versus train carrying 8 people you don't know. Who are you going to save?
Right.
It comes down
Mhm.
to, I don't know. I would like to say I think I could if it were for the greater good. I don't know. Only if I could end it for myself after.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it at all.
I don't either.
All right, a better situation. Let's do Calamai, but let's do would you have gone to Calamai because I feel like I would and probably done exactly the same thing that Feyre did because I would just like be wandering around trying to figure out what's going on and not knowing and just being like, "Oh, well, this is cool. I just want to come check it out," you know? I don't think I would have at least had the street smarts, I'm calling it, for Feyre to talk to Rhysand in the way that she does. Like, I don't think I would have been able to come up with that on the spot. I think I would have just freaked out or potentially ran away.
I would love to say that I would have gone, but honestly, in her situation, I don't know if I would have gone because I have a lot of that overthinking fear. I think I would have. Oh my gosh, what if I get in trouble?
That's me.
That's ingrained deep, man.
Yeah, I'm too much of a chicken, and especially after all of the like creatures and stuff she's encountered. No, I'm not gonna just. I feel like the curiosity would have gotten the better of me, and maybe would have went.
Exactly.
But I would always have that in the back of my mind. Am I gonna get in trouble for this? And what if I get lost, or what if I come across? I feel I would have overthunk it and wouldn't have gone. That's my final answer.
I love it. I don't think I would have been able to not go. I just would have needed to just go check it out for a few minutes and then probably leave. I think I would need to. I'd have to know where the drums are coming from.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Where are they coming from? Okay, so that is the end of our fun questions in regards to ACOTAR Book 1. If you did not have a chance to listen to our podcast where we deep dive into the chapters, please jump into one of those episodes. Join us next time where we jump into the book 2, A Court of Mist and Fury. Otherwise, if you haven't read it yet, just read it. Okay. All right. Last two questions, and then we're done for the night. Favorite book read in April, because it is officially May and another month has gone by. So I realized about a week ago that all of the books I had read in April were rereads and not new reads. So I frantically started listening to books last week. But it just so happened that I love the series that I picked up. I am going through all of S.J. Tilley's book and ended up reading her Mafia series, the Alliance series. And so I can't say which. The second, third, and fourth books were so good, which I'm not a big Mafia fan, and I loved these books, but I think Dom was my favorite. So that would be my favorite April read, and I highly recommend it.
I didn't read too many through April. I only finished about 6, not counting, or 6 to 8, not counting ACOTAR. But I have been reading Beyond the Page Bookstore Mystery series for about 11 months, and book 11 is an epilogue to A Christmas Murder. It's Lauren Elliott, and it was absolutely phenomenal. For such a long book series, ending on book 11, it was the picturesque ending you want while still getting everything answered without it being too rushed. It was just a perfect little bow to tie in my Agatha Christie, Miss Maple mystery type vibe. And then, of course, I found another series that I jumped into right away. So that one has 28 books. So we'll see how long that one takes.
Yeah.
But
So I was with C, and most of mine were rereads. But I only read 2 others, which was Birthday Girl and Haunting Adeline, and it was definitely going to be Haunting Adeline. I didn't enjoy, Birthday Girl as much. Haunting Adeline definitely is the winner for April.
Awesome. Okay. So what is your favorite new read book for this year? And has it changed since? Because I think I said my favorite new read is In Her Own League, which was my favorite March read. And I'm going to have to stick with that one being my favorite so far for the year.
What did I say mine was for the year? Did I say Lights Out, or was it Nocticadia?
I think it was Lights Out, because I don't think you had finished Nocticadia yet the last time we talked.
Hold on.
About
So wait, are we doing for the year, or are we doing for last month? What did you say again?
both. I said for the year. What's your favorite read for the year?
Oh no.
Just to see if it's changed.
I don't even remember what I said my favorite was.
I think you said Lights Out, because I said that was a close second, third-ish for me. But Nocticadia is your favorite.
Oh, I'm looking back through my things, and I love lots of them. Nocticadia was great. Haunting Adeline was way too it was way too intense to be my favorite. I'm gonna say Nocticadia.
I still think I'm going to go with the entire Maya's blog series, that Laura Mackenzie series, as my favorite for the year. Little
Okay.
Bean was the last book in the series, and it was adorable, just the best. So I would still say that's my favorite for the year. In Her Own League is a close second. It was definitely the March favorite, but no, those Maya blog books were just what I needed in that moment. So they take
Awesome.
the win. So
Okay. That is all the questions